Hey, welcome to the Vent Live. We are so excited because we are continuing our series on futuristic foundations. Tonight's episode is extra special because we have a special guest, Miss Keisha McDaniel. I'm going to share a little bit more about her in a little bit, and she's going to be up here to drop some knowledge and some gems on us. But tonight's conversation is centered around thriving in the future. So our overall theme really deals with Afrofuturism and this idea of what Black life looks like in the future, incorporating information from history, from our present, and then reimagining what our future can look like. I'm always excited about that because I'm 100% un unashamedly excited and always excited to have community cultural conversations as well as give practical knowledge, practical tips in a safe communal space where every voice can bring something in. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our special guest, let her share a little bit about herself. Again, her name is Keisha McDaniel. She is an amazing wife, mother, Gigi. She is a CEO, a founder, a minister. She does all the things. So we're going to let her share a little bit about her, and then we're going to hop into some questions. We want to hear from you all. Drop your questions, advice in the chat as well. Again, if this is your first time, this is a community conversation, so feel free to comment at any moment. Feel free to drop something on us at any moment. We want to hear from you. So come on in, and we are welcoming Miss Keisha McDaniel.
Hey, good evening.
We are so
So
excited.
much. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Just got finished sharing in two of the groups that I'm the admin in. So I'm excited to be on tonight. Thank you so much, Kelly. You are amazing. I am so proud of you. The event is doing it, and it is just phenomenal to see this continuation of growth and stewardship in the community. Yes, for the culture and beyond.
Yes, I'm excited as well. I'm like always excited to connect because that's what community is, collaborating with other people and being able to see what other people have going on too. So, can you please share with us, share with the people watching, what a little bit about you and what you do and how you make great impact?
Okay. Yeah. So I heard all my favorite things. First and foremost, I am the wife to the love of my life, obviously, Mr. McDaniel. If you know us, you know we
Mm-hmm.
how we work, how we gel together. Mom to some amazing children, Gigi, all of those things that really just are near and dear to my heart. But one of the other things that really makes up who I am is that I'm passionate about helping individuals discover their purpose, overcome obstacles, and maximize their potential, whether it be in their individual lives, in business, in ministry. And I have had the opportunity to be blessed. I look back yesterday, almost 20 years. June 2025 will make 20 years that I have been navigating the nonprofit, the church ministry, the entrepreneurial space as a entrepreneur and business owner. Like it's been 20 years that I've been doing this, and again, just real passionate about impacting the lives in those spaces, right? In church ministry and nonprofit ministry and organizations, as well as those who are starting business ownership and entrepreneurship in the areas of like marketing and creativity, promotional products, in the areas of business formation, in the areas of automation, all the things, right? And so now I'm excited because I get to consult in the areas in which I have had the expertise in and serve as a consultant and an empowerment coach. So yeah, we're shifting and
Yes.
get to share. So I'm excited about what's next.
I'm excited too, and what I'm so like super excited. That's why I was like, as soon as we started this, I was like, I gotta get Miss Keisha on this because this is Miss Keisha. Like this, she is like you embody it. You
Wow.
do this. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I gotta ask today, right now,
Yes.
because it's thriving, and we're talking about future and the big like for me, from what I see when I think about you, right? It
Yes.
is the creativity and the reimagining, and it's also the steps. to how, okay, it's not just the vision, it's also
Yeah.
this is how you practically get there.
Yeah.
You can have all the imagination in the world, but if you don't know what route to take or what system
Yeah.
to make it,
Yeah.
you really can't do it.
Right. Right.
What
You
if-
gotta exercise some discipline in areas that will allow your creativity to breathe. Right. Like
Absolutely.
discipline is the bridge that gives your creativity space to grow. Otherwise, you'll just have all of these ideas, but you're not implementing anything. And
Yes.
so, I'm a big proponent on planning to win and goal setting and all of the processes, but I'm also a big proponent on allowing your creativity to become magnified and allowing yourself to sit in those spaces that cause your creativity to grow. So, yeah,
Yes.
some ways to do that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's hop into our first question because that is like the perfect bridge into that. So our first question that we would love your insight on, and again, if you're in the audience and you want to drop some information as well, we would love for you to do that. We're very communal. Our first question is, what are some practical ways people can integrate creativity and imagination into their planning and goal setting processes?
Yeah, so first things first, I would say that creativity and imagination, they both begin with you got to give yourself permission to dream. First off, you gotta take the limits off instead of like just listing goals and writing things down like a wish list or a resolution. What you need to start doing is actually visualizing yourself in the situation. We did a plan to win session last night, and it was different than any other session that I had done because we started off envisioning the life that we desire, right? So we went through the process of closing our eyes, visualizing what our next year looks like, what December 2025 looks like. With our eyes closed, where are we? What are we doing? Who are we with? Those types of things. What are people calling you? So that means if you are envisioning this life a year from now, what are people calling you? Are they calling you Dr. Sweat in 2025? Right? So envision the life that you desire and then start taking the practical tools to create it, to bring it to fruition. And so a lot of people do vision boards. I love vision boards. I'm not knocking them, but I do think that when you do envisioning, you do vision boards, but you have to take it a step further with creating those SMART goals. And so the practical ways to integrate your creativity and your imagination is to start envisioning what you desire your life to be like, and then what you see, start writing those things down. Because when you write it down, you give life to it. And now it holds you accountable to implement what you put down.
I love that. I love that because you said when you write it down, it gives life.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Right. And then it also it holds you in two spaces. One, it gives life to what can be. And then two, it holds you accountable. So now you got to do something.
You have to. Because what you don't want is to come back a month from now, a year from now, and be like, oh, I wrote this down, but I didn't do one thing about it. Because that in itself is deflating, and it puts you in a space of feeling like you can't accomplish what you set out to do. And so I say this: start big in your mind, like take everything that comes into your mind, what you envision, start big in your mind, write it down, but then start small in your actions. You can only eat the elephant one bite at a time. So you can't just, even though it's a massive what you're envisioning, you still have to take small, smart steps to achieving the goal.
That's good. That's good. And with that being said, what role does discipline? So you talked about accountability, you talked about what you say, you talked about breaking it down to small steps.
Yeah.
When you think about all those things, what role does discipline play in kind of making those things, those actionable steps actually happen.
Yeah. So again, so it takes me back to what I said earlier about like discipline being the bridge that brings ideas, that takes ideas and creates results. So when you think about the creativity that you have, you can't implement anything without this strategy and discipline to make it happen. And so the key is to be flexible, but to be focused, like laser focused on what it is that you have to do. Using like a system or a schedule or something that causes your creative moments to be structured. Because otherwise, we gonna be all over the place. Because as creatives, we have a whole lot of creative ideas, and if we don't put the creativity down in this space, in this container, and start nurturing and navigating it, by the time we get that down just as an idea, we got probably 50, 11 more ideas that have come, and we haven't even tackled this one. So I say that discipline is the container that gives your creativity the ability to flourish and create results. You have to structure yourself. And I am very, I remember I had a coworker probably about 5 years ago, and she joked me because at that time I was working in the marketing department for a nonprofit, and she joked me because I was having a brain freeze and I needed to work on something creative for the department for an annual report. And I was like, I need to get to the beach. I'm gonna just go to the ocean front so that my creativity could breathe, right? And she was like, I know you're not leaving in the middle of the day to go down to the ocean front with a notebook. I said, and certainly am. I certainly am. I certainly am. And I don't need any company. I'm going. I got my notebook. I need this moment to sit by the water on the beach to hear the waves ripple and run. But I knew that I needed the discipline to write down what came to me, because by the time I got back to the office, I wouldn't have remembered. I just would have had a good time. So we have to discipline ourselves by scheduling these creative moments and then being accountable to actually work through them. Work through them.
Thank you for that. That's what I heard was be creative, like go all the way, do what you need to do. But also know that you have to have a container, like you have to have something to put that creativity in, so that you don't just have one, like you're not one-sided. You don't just have the creativity but nothing to show for it, in a sense.
And we definitely not saying we're trying to box creativity in. Right. So the container in and of itself is not like a box that we have to take a lid off. We're not trying to box it in, but we're trying to create balance so that as we get creative ideas, we are balanced and structured enough that we are going to see it through to the end. So that when we have these other creative ideas that pop up, it's not taking precedent over this one that needs to be implemented now. So you discipline yourself to put into practice whatever this idea was, and then you come back to the others.
That's good.
Or marry them together, because a lot of times the things do go together.
Right.
And you'll find it out as you start navigating that creative space. That a lot of times they don't happen in silos. It's not isolated. Like what you think about. I was gonna say this. Or what the Lord drops in your mind, right? A lot of times it is not disconnected. It's not. It goes somewhere. It's a piece of the puzzle, and it goes somewhere. It might be up top, it might be in the middle, it might be at the bottom. So that's why it's key and it's very important that when you get creative ideas, right? Creative ideas and inventions, that you document them so that when you decide to implement them, you can go back and pull, oh, well, that's what this piece was about. And so I'll pull this piece in and start implementing that along with this. And that might make this situation easier. So, yeah.
That's good. That is so, like, you have dropped so many things on us, and I think, and you have also affirmed many of us, because I know that I know that I'm very creative, And I also know because of that, I have
Yeah.
to stay focused because I can get caught up in, oh, I want to do this. And I'm like, oh, but I also got to do this. And
Yeah.
it's like some moments I just have to pause and say, okay, like prioritize things,
Mm-hmm.
or I have to figure out, okay, is that something, is this even a good idea? Or is just, or was I just going too far?
Yeah. Is it something that can wait? Like, if that's something I
Right.
can just jot down real quick and say, okay, it's out of my brain. It's on to this place, and then I can move on to what I'm doing.
Right.
That's
That's
very
good.
difficult, but it's necessary.
Right.
You have to compartmentalize. Like, nobody is saying that you cannot be creative. And because a lot, I remember there used to be a stigma that, creatives are all over the place, right?
Mhm.
And they can't ever get it together because their hands are here and here and here and here. And guess what? That might in some instances be true for some, but there are some creatives who can navigate a multitude of responsibilities. Listen, we can
Yes.
navigate a multitude of
Yes.
responsibility and still be focused on the thing that matters.
That's it. That's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
That's so true. And I think that goes when we look at like Afrofuturism, when we look at even where we are now, and historically, like people of color we have been so creative, often out of necessity because of
yeah,
situations that have been outside of our control. There's so many, we can name lists of inventors, and there's so many we don't even know about.
yeah,
But also in another space you kind of tapped on was even in spiritual spaces, we could imagine things beyond where we were. So I can imagine my freedom. I can imagine
yeah,
the freedom of my grandchildren and what they'll be able to do. I may not, all these ideas that come to mind may not be just for me. These may be things that for later, and later may be another generation, but I'm going to at
right.
least have it written somewhere. I'm gonna have the initial thing, and then somebody else may take hold of it, and they make it something that I
Yeah,
couldn't even imagine, but I knew it was something, but I didn't
yes,
know all the connection points, but they
right,
got it.
right,
So
right.
that's the exciting part for me, is like we can have the idea, I can have the system in place, and I can have the priority of now, is this later? And I heard you say we can be creative, and we can we can have some logistics in order as well, because people try to put you in, like, people will try to put you in a box. Oh, you're
Right.
creative, so you gonna do this, and you gonna be all over the place, and they'll tell you exactly what you're gonna be, not knowing that you have the ability. When we talk about reimagining, you have the ability to imagine, but you also have the ability to execute it as
Yes.
well. We can do
Yeah.
both.
You can be, listen, you can do both and you can be
Uh-huh.
both. I'm telling you, listen, Reverend Dr. Janelle freed me. And I don't even think she realized it was in one of the conversations we were having a couple of years ago. And because for so many years we talked about I remember growing up, you know how people say, what you want to be when you grow up? And I remember when I was like 3, 5, one of them ages, I always said I wanted to be an accountant. And so growing up, that's what I wanted to be. But life circumstances and situations put me in a different position, and my creativity, my marketing, my graphic design, that creativity was sparked out of necessity, because it was something that I could do on the side while I worked full time to take care of my 4 children at the time. So that was birthed out of necessity. Taught myself, and then moved into graphics, moved into marketing, moved into the print arena, moved into promotional products. That was out of necessity, but the real and I'm gifted in that area, and
Right.
I know that. But at the same time, I realized that there was this burning desire. There was something that was within me that I knew I had the ability to conquer, which was, bookkeeper and accountant. And she freed me, because I always thought it had to be either or, either or. Either you're creative because creative, right brain, left brain, whichever brain side is the creative
Right.
side, right? And then you got this other side that's the logistic, the analytical side, the numbers crunching side, and they don't coexist together. It's either you're creative or you are analytical. And it's something, this was the gift that I had to realize that I carry, that I can be both. Can be both, but it takes a level of discipline to realize that if I am dealing with creativity and design and all of the what a gosh is the word is escaping me, it's gonna come back to me, the aesthetics. If I'm working in graphic design and aesthetics on this hour, I have to carve out that time, because if I switch what in between, it gets discombobulated up here. So I have to exercise the discipline to say, okay, so for 3 hours, I'm working on this. And then when that's over, I'm gonna take my creativity rest break. And then I'm gonna come back and maybe work on this. They can coexist, but you have to learn how to compartmentalize whatever the creativity thing is, if that makes
That's
sense.
good.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Like you have to figure out your flow. You have to figure out your system of I'm both of these things. Now how do I make it work so
Yeah.
that I'm not getting frustrated or I'm not all over the place? Because
Hmm.
that frustration can lead to you like, oh, I just need to choose one. When you don't, you just need to have a time set for
Yeah.
which space you're gonna operate in right now.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
That's
that I
it.
think hopefully that freed some other people that's on too. I saw Donita. Hey, Donita's Blunt said, good evening. Hey, Donita.
Good
Glad you're
evening.
in. And
Yes.
I think along those same lines, one question I definitely wanted to touch on was what advice would you give to someone? So you kind of talked about, like operating in these different spaces, trying to figure out, okay, am I accountant? Am I a graphic designer? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
What advice would you give to someone who's they're struggling, they're trying to set the goals, but it's so much going on around them. Going on around them? So what advice would you give to someone who's struggling with that right now?
So yeah, I think for me it goes back to starting small, right? Like start in small, take small bite-sized actions and start now. Like don't wait. Like the small things are not the areas in which you gotta wait to 2025 to start doing. Now is the time to get started with whatever it is that you're looking forward, because I can guarantee you when you start small and start taking bite-sized chunks out of the bigger thing, you will find yourself that you have already mastered the thing at the end of the time. So you have to, my advice is to start now. Don't delay, don't overthink it, because we can do that. We can overthink, we can get overwhelmed, and becoming overwhelmed paralyzes us. And so, if you take it one bite at a time, one step at a time, instead of focusing on the big picture, you can ask yourself, what is the thing that I can do today that my future self is going to thank me for? What can I accomplish now, in this moment, in this day, and this week, that my future self is going to say, I'm glad you did that. That's how we start. Um, we can't we have these large insurmountable goals, but just like last night we talked about the SMART goals, and it's just being really specific, having real measurable actions, something that is achievable, right? Something that is result focused, and something that is time focused. And so that's what we need to do. We need to
That's
take
good.
whatever the big goal is and minimize it to a SMART goal. Make it really small. Like, for example, somebody might want to open a business. I can talk about this all day. Somebody might want to open up a business in 2025. Well, guess what? You don't need to wait till 2025 to start writing your business plan. It starts with an executive summary. What is your business? What do you want it to accomplish? Who do you want to serve? How will you serve them? If that's all you do this week, you have done a lot. You have done a lot. And then after this week, you go into next week and you figure out, okay, what type of products and services do I want to sell? What is the price point for them? You do that next week, right? Because by the time you get to next week, your mind would have been being flooded with different ideas that you can add to your executive summary. But you are still pushing yourself to do what's necessary. And so once you open up that portal and start allowing yourself to think bigger, to dream bigger, to start implementing and using the discipline, carving out the time to do what's necessary, 1 hour per day, to sit back and think and journal and write, by the time you get to the end of the week, you've already gotten the summary. Same thing once you've done that. When you start thinking about your target audience and your products and how you're going to serve them and how much it's going to cost and doing your market, you have already started writing things out. And so we won't get to the fact that, oh my God, I have to have a whole 30-page, 45-page business plan, when you can come up with a one-sheeter that summarizes what your business does and how you want to make business happen for yourself. And then you just go from there. Like you get your LLC, you get your EIN, you start, going to the bank, you get your social media stuff. It's all of those things. But when you start looking at, oh my God, I have to do all of this to start a business, you have missed the mark. Start small.
Good.
Ideas, right? But small action. That's my advice.
I love that. And it's so funny because we do the Vent Nightcap at 8:00, and our topic for tonight was small doses. Small doses lead to like a major relief. Like you just need to change one small thing a day, and that will have a great impact on every other day and every other thing you have going on. It really is those small things. Like take the small step, and it sounds so simple, and it sounds like it doesn't make impact, but if people go to the gym every day, right? And that's a small step every day, and over time things change because every day you've made this decision now to do this. So it's like it's over time you've collected and you're growing, and things are changing because you made one decision every day, or whatever schedule you on, to do something, and now it's making a big impact on your life. Like it sounds simple, but it's like we talked about earlier, it's the discipline behind it. When you do it, start checking stuff off the list. My executive summary is done, this is done, I've identified, and next thing you know, your business is flourishing. Because you took one step one day and you just kept going with it. So I love that.
I love that. Yes, because we talked about it. And it goes to consistency, and that's what I heard. Like one step every day, every single day, one thing, day after day after day. Like it's the consistency for me. Like this is the season of consistency, taking consistent action. Because we don't, and by being obedient to the consistency, we don't know what's on the other end of that. We just know that we have to take these steps, do these things that we are assigned to do, in blind faith, in blind obedience. Something might be pulling you to do it, whatever, your something is. We are taking the necessary steps consistently and exercising the discipline to get it done, not even realizing what the ultimate result is going to be. But I guarantee you, this is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Just because of that small step you decided to take, get a big reward, big impact, big return. I love it. And that I want to ask, I was going to go somewhere else, but now I want to do this. So we talked about like that part for me is introspective, right? Like these are decisions that I made. This is something that I have to do, that I have to be accountable for. Right. If this is what I want to happen. Right. But I don't want to, I don't want us to leave off also the fact that there are outside voices and things and people and systems. It's so many things outside that often will try to put a damper on us imagining and us implementing things. And one of the things about Afrofuturism is it challenges us to imagine things beyond the systems that are in place now, beyond, what may be reality now. So it's like, how can envisioning that, taking your one small step, how can envisioning the future help us break free from those things that would try to overwhelm us or overwork us? So those outside factors, how can we kind of break free from those systems?
That's a good question. Because that was a question that I really was like really thinking about before we hopped on. For me, I guess it is introspective, and having the boldness ignited within us that we are able to stand against those forces that try to break us. Like, resilience has always been a blessing and a curse for our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've always had to be resilient against those negative forces that have tried to break us down. Absolutely. But what we also have always had was a deep inner conviction and pride, and inner power and authority that could cause us, even if you tried to beat us down, will always cause us to rise up. And so for me, it is the affirming and the declaring of knowing who I am. Whether or not you see me for what you think I am, knowing who I am and the power that I possess. I'm not going to allow, and having the mindset that I'm not going to allow anything to break that in me. That's good. So holding on to the resistance of allowing a system, a person, a circumstance to cause us to be overwhelmed and shrink back from what we were destined to do. Because that's what it is. It will cause you to shrink back in the areas in which you don't know the future. But if you allow overwhelmed and being overworked and being allowing somebody to just keep putting on you things to minimize you, because that's what it is. It's to keep you from being great. And so if you allow that, then you will position yourself to not pursue what you've been called to do. You are pursuing somebody else's purpose and not yours.
That's good. I ain't gonna take us nowhere else. That's good though. That is so good. Because a few things came to my mind. We said like, we gotta stay focused, right? So you're right, it is introspective. So a lot of things will come, but you have to know who you are, and you have to be confident in that. And what I have found is a few things. We can look at history, like you said, and all the things we came up against, whether it was in the U.S., whether it was slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, all these different times where it was literally systems and people and things that try to hold us back from what we truly deserve just for being human. And even now, looking at systems where whether you're a woman, whether you're a certain age, whether, all these different systems that often, and what I have seen is that there is a system, but there are also people who see in you often what you can't see in you. So, they see it. So, because I don't want to say maybe they don't have it, but because maybe they don't recognize what's in them, but they recognize what's in you, they'll try to stop you from getting to where you need to go. And that will sometimes cause us to question ourselves, because somebody's telling you, they're like, well, you doing all this, well, you always doing that. You need to, people try to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And my fear is that we'll start limiting our creativity, because it's like, well, maybe I am doing too much. That's when we start shrinking.
I was getting ready to go there. I was getting ready to go there. Because what they're doing is projecting on you. I love that I love that, Kelly, because you are spot on. What they are doing is projecting on you their inabilities, their inadequacies. And so they'll say to you, because you are out there doing what you are called to do and what you are assigned to do based on the capacity that has been deposited in you, you're doing it. You're fulfilling
Right.
purpose. You're acting on what you have been mandated to do. And because they don't have the capacity to do it, they will say to you, oh, you're doing too much. Oh, every time I turn around, you out here doing this and you're doing that. You don't ever rest, do you? You don't get do you get enough sleep? How can people keep up with you? Got the balance.
That's it. That's it.
It needs to be balanced, right? You cannot allow somebody else's inadequacies to be projected on you.
That's
And to
good.
cause you, because that was something I struggled with for years. And so now when I hear it, I just chuckle. And, sometimes I clap back in the Keisha McDaniel way, of course. But yeah, no, I'm doing what I'm called to do. And I have the capacity to do it.
Yes.
And what you don't see is, and I think that they want to see you exasperated in all that you're doing, or see you overwhelmed, or see you broke down, or see you tired, because they can't fathom your ability to manage what has been mandated on you. But that's not for them. It's for you.
Right.
And so
Right.
for those that have that very specific and peculiar calling to do more with less, right? Or to be able to do less with more, whatever your case may be, don't allow anybody to speak into your, don't receive from anybody any type of negativity that will cause your light to dim. You continue to do what you know you are mandated to do, because I get it. I used to get it often. I think I still get it every now and then, but it doesn't penetrate me. When somebody says, well, how in the world are you doing all that? It's by the grace.
Right. That's it.
This is my life purpose. This is my life purpose. And when you are confident in that, then you are able to navigate in spaces that would give other people, that have other people pulling their hair.
Yes, that's good. And that's so true, because you don't want to get stuck in that space of allowing them to do that. And like you said, not allowing them to penetrate, because you will find your people.
Right.
The upside for me is you will find your people who are operating at the same or similar space, and they will help affirm, like, you have your confidence, but they will also help affirm you and keep you accountable to, you got 10 things to do today. And I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier, and I was like, we have been in like 3 different states in the last 2 days.
Yes.
And for somebody, it's like, why would you do that? But for somebody else, like, we were laughing about it, and like, well, this is life now. Like, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
For somebody else, they might have been like, you are crazy. Like, you need to slow down. It's no reason why you should have done that.
Yeah.
But it is that it is our capacities know that this is our life now.
Yeah.
So
and you be okay with it, because like even family members sometimes won't understand. And and you'll get comments like, you always working. Well, if this is the purpose, because guess what, when you enjoy what you do and you are purpose for doing it, then it's not work. It's not work to you. Like me with Purpose Pursuit, God gave me that. Right. I don't like the word founder as much, because I believe that the Lord founded it. I just operated,
Okay.
So but somebody had to, because if I didn't do it, then I would have been accountable for not doing it. And so, because it is the vision and the mandate that's on my life, and I embrace that, I am responsible for making sure that what God founded gets done. And so I can't drop the ball on that. I'm accountable. I'm accountable to the real CEO. Right? And And so
Right.
for somebody to see me, sending an email or responding to a text or sending an encouraging text to somebody or commenting on somebody's social media, sending prayers or, whatever the case may be, scheduling, how we do, scheduling series of emails, working on the next program, the next conference, the next retreat, the next outreach effort. Those things are not work to me. It is my life's work. It's what God called me to do. It is my ultimate purpose to make sure that those individuals that God created understand their purpose, overcome their obstacles, and maximize their potential. That is my life's work. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it whether I got my feet up in my pajamas, watching Netflix. I'm gonna do it whether I'm behind this desk at the computer working. That's what I'm gonna do. And so for people that don't understand that, it looks as though they are they have the potential to try and limit you because they may be themselves limited. But again, it speaks to capacity. It's not diminishing their value or what they are called to do. It is just understanding, like I put in a Facebook post the other day, it's not that you are better, you're different. You are different. And if you can own that for you, allow me to own it for me.
Yes. That's good. That's good. That is so true. That's so true. That's why, you have those people, but you also have your people that they see it, and they appreciate it and they work, they work with you through it so that, what is it that you're seeing? I got you. And some people, they may not even get it all the way. But what they know is you have the vision and they believe in your ability. So they're like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
And you need those people. Yes, you need those people. And I hope, whoever is listening is up here and that's up here can hear that. Like, don't let anybody tell you, like she just said, that you're all over the place or that, you can't do multiple things. Hey, Tasha, I see you got back in. Tasha, for example, she's on Instagram. She is a teacher. She's a mom. She's a wife. She is a thrifter. She resells. She travels and enjoys her life. She does all the things. Mm-hmm. And for somebody else, they may be like, you need to just focus on this, right? But the thing is, if you have the capacity to do it and you enjoy doing it and you're you're impacting other people's lives as you do it, like, why in the world would you pull back? Because even when you're doing all the things, like you said, you can do with your feet up, you also enjoying having those moments and be able to thrive and do what you love in all those different spaces. Because even in those spaces, we show up differently sometimes. Mm-hmm. And some people try to tell you, oh, you fake, or no, I am this, I'm the teacher in the classroom. And then when I'm over here doing this, I'm this. And when I'm in the business meeting, mm-hmm. I am the CEO. And when I'm at home, I'm the mama Gigi. Like, I can do all of those things are authentically me. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm always be a proponent of them. I'm always going to support them. I'm always going to champion people. I'm always, like you said, the flexibility. Be flexible because you can be all those things and be all those things 100% mom, 100% Gigi, 100% CEO, 100% teacher, and do all those things well. Yeah. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because you absolutely want. We've seen too many people do it mm-hmm. to say that it can't be done. Yeah. We just seen too many examples. We too can many. Do it. Right. So whoever heard that and needed to hear it, I just hope that, you really grasp that and know that you do not have to stick to one lane. You may start in one and, build that up and grow that, but then you keep on moving to the other things that you want to accomplish and know that you can do all the things well.
Yes. I love that. You can do all things well.
All things, all of them. And I guess as we look at it, we talk about, impacting in the classroom, impacting in the boardroom, impacting on the beach, impacting. We had impacting at the bonfire.
Right.
You can and all those things. So even one of the other things that Afrofuturism really emphasizes is intentionality. So there's intentionality in all of those spaces from us, for us, and that we are able to live through. So what are some ways we can intentionally affirm ourselves and our communities every day?
So, I'm doing this 31-day challenge.
Come on, let us drop the plugs, drop the links, the
No,
everything.
because it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. And this is not a plug one iota, I'm telling you. But it is 31 days of going from surviving to thriving. And every day, I have been providing practical tips on how to change our mindsets from survival mode to thriving. And when this question came about, it was so much confirmation in the question, because we've been doing these 31 days. So we're on day 20. And so this week, we have just been talking about intentional affirming.
Oh, wow.
In ways that we were talking about journaling, talking about extending love to those who might be unlovable at the time, talking about today we talked about giving a compliment, sliding a compliment in. That was today. We're gonna slide a compliment in to some stranger, to somebody. And we talked about how we as women, we can give a compliment, but when it's time for us to receive one, we're not very gracious with it because of the way we accept compliments. So I was saying how I love how we can compliment somebody and be like, okay, I see you, blue dress. Okay, okay, glasses, okay, earrings, I see you, right? We can do that. But when it comes down to receiving somebody saying something about us, it's very difficult. And so we were talking about affirming ourselves with statements like I am enough, with statements like I am capable, because then what that does too is it takes us back to the previous question about capacity. Sometimes people have the capacity to do more, be more, have more, but they are limiting themselves because they don't feel like they themselves are capable. And it's somebody that's coming into their lives to speak life into them, to affirm them, to say, hey, I see you. I see that you are killing the game in this area. You are very much capable to do more. But because you feel like you don't have the capacity, you are limiting yourselves. And so, yes, I see affirmations absolutely is the way. I am enough. I am capable. I have purpose. You knew I was going there. I have purpose and I have a destiny to fulfill. And when you start believing it introspectively, internally, it feels out. So that when you give the compliment to somebody, it's more genuine. It's not disingenuous. It's not like you're just saying something because somebody quote unquote challenged you during this 31 days to do it. You really feel like you can actually give somebody a compliment. You can actually share a resource that is valuable to somebody when you are able to affirm yourself. And we don't tend to do that internal work on ourselves. And so that is one of the ways that we can be intentional in affirming ourselves and our community is starting with us and then letting it spill out into others so that people know that they're seen. People, we are just navigating these spaces out here in these streets. People are hurting and they don't they don't know what's happening from one day to the next. And all it takes is for somebody to see them. To just see them and say something nice to them, as opposed to seeing the unlovable thing or the thing that's different from you that would cause you to be like, find something about the person that you can compliment and watch how it changes their perspective. And then it can trickle on to the next person. I don't think we do enough of that. I think in our closed group spaces, like where we see people every day, I think we have mastered doing it in the workspace, in the family space, in the friend space. But I don't think I haven't seen here lately where people just and I because of the challenge, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I didn't go out today. Other than one place, and I was stuck all day. But so for me, I will have to do it tomorrow. But I think when we're intentional about letting somebody know that we see them, it is encouragement and it's strength to them, and then it empowers them to feel like they actually have value. Yeah.
Yeah, you just dropped some gems on us because like you said, we don't speak into people as much as probably we would like to, we could, and there's so many things around that: society, culture, uh, other people's self-esteem, self-worth. Like there's so many factors that go into that. And I also believe that if we were, and we actually, I think we talked about this last night on the nightcap. We talked about when you are well rested, when you are confident, when you're operating from abundance, it has this effect where it goes out, right?
Mhm.
So it's like I forgot the word we use right now, but it flows out to other people. So if I feel like I'm loved, I'm gonna love on you, right? If I'm at
Yeah.
peace, when you come around me, you feel at peace because I
Yeah.
am peace, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm joyous, you're not gonna be able to, but you can't help but laugh when you're in
Mhm.
my presence because I am joy. So
Yes.
when I come
Yes.
around you, like I'm giving you the joy that because I have an abundance and I have an overflow of it, right?
Right.
And like with your challenge, people are able to build up and operate from a place of abundance versus a place of scarcity where I
Yes.
can't give this to you because I don't have it. But if I'm on this 30 way down 31 challenge, I got it. I'm full.
Yes.
Now I'm overflowing. I can give it to you. So it's affecting me and it's affecting those around me. And that's for me, that's thriving, right? Like I'm doing
Yes.
for me and for you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I can give you all of these things because I have internalized it and I've embodied it. I've become it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's through intentionality.
That's it. That's it. Because guess what? You can't pour out of an empty cup.
Oh,
You can't.
absolutely not.
And so if we want to thrive, we have to allow ourselves to be poured into as we're pouring.
Right.
You can't just get it and keep it for yourself. That's hoarding and that's gluttony. You can't and you
Right.
can't. I mean, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
you putting on the weight, but you're not sharing that goodness.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
no.
That's it.
Rather enjoy a nice meal with friends than to just eat up a whole 5-course meal alone
Right.
continually, because there are times that you do need to have that good old quality time, just you.
Yes.
But to just keep on just being by yourself and not sharing goodness and encouragement with somebody else,
Right.
that's not purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yes, thank you. And this gonna roll kind of into our last thing. I want to kind of us to round out the conversation on this because I think we started tapping on it. So we kind of talked about what's going on in culture, society, but also like you said, with your 31 day challenge, it's also that internal work of
Yeah.
discovering who you are, affirming yourself. So how would you recommend someone balance that? Like I know what society looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there is internal work that I am working on, that I'm doing. I'm going through this challenge. I'm doing all these things that I need to do. How do I balance the external expectations, what people expect to happen, the things that society tries to put on me versus
Right.
the work that I'm doing, because it doesn't match.
Right.
Like what's expected of me doesn't match the work that I'm putting in. So what would you recommend to someone who's trying to find that balance?
So first thing I would say is, as it relates to what we were talking about, don't borrow somebody else's definition of success. Success for you is not the same defined success for me. And society might demand you to have this level of success based on society's mandates. But when you do your own internal work, you get to define what success looks like. For us, it might be multitasking and doing all of the things because we have capacity to do so. For somebody else, success might look like taking care of their family, nourishing their children, at home, and making sure that their home is well, that their husband is well, that their kids are taken care of, their house is maintained, and they get a chance. They want to make sure that they manage and CEO that space that they're responsible for. That might be success for them. They shouldn't look at somebody that's multitasking and out here doing all the things and diminish their value or diminish themselves. So what does success look like in terms of how you envision it? So it goes back to whatever your vision is. And you determine success, your life's level of success and purpose based on what's on the inside of you. What are you envisioning for your life? And then you work towards those goals, regardless of what you see that's happening and going on around you. We got to remember that we don't owe anybody else our peace, and nobody else owes us theirs. My peace is mine, and your peace is yours, and I'm going to hold on to it for dear life.
That's it.
Somebody brought me of that because I need it for the
Yes,
capacity.
you need that. Absolutely. Don't let that go. And I guess from personal experience as well, like success, like you said, you define it. And even in that as well, success looks different in different seasons.
Yeah.
So there was seasons where success for me was graduating school or getting through a class. Success was, getting the job, the applications coming through. Success was building out a team. Like it could be, even in that, success can look different in different points of your life. Like now, success for me now is me doing less work, and having systems in place so that I'm flexible to do other things that I need to do and to travel and to, do the things that I enjoy, where some of it is still work, like the event. We want to travel more. So I need to put some things in place. Success for me is me being able to take things off my plate, where at another point in life, success was me putting some things on my plate. Now it's okay, what can I unload so that I can have the flexibility to go to another state and to go to another place versus, I'm responsible for this and this. That's great. But right now, that's not success for me right now.
I love some automation. And so, and so that's another thing too about people's capacity and expectation of what you're capable of doing. A lot of times people don't understand that I'm not on, it might look like it, but we're not on social media hours and hours of the day, because you might see a post come up at this time. Oh, she on. Not listen. Technology and automation helps us be able to do far more than we could do manually. And so I'm with you on the success thing. Just because I have all of these things that you can list, like the Purpose Pursuit and KLM Creators and wife and mom and Gigi and all of those things, it does not mean that Keisha McDaniel is a slave to this computer 24/7. There are systems in place, there are teams in place. And I remember, just like you said, success for me probably 10, 11, 12 years ago, I think I'm dating myself, was to get my kids raised, grown, and gone. That's what that was the goal, to get them out. And so now success for me is making sure that I leave legacy for them and my grandkids that's coming after them. And so my mentality, my success mindset is on something totally different for somebody that's starting a family and raising children, right? Up a different stage. So that's why I say you can't allow somebody else's view of success. You can't borrow that. You have to envision what that looks like for you and pursue that. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I this is the last thing I promise. I was at an event last night and I ran upstairs to do the event nightcap, right? And then I did it real quick, boom, came back. But I had already pre-planned, like you said, having systems and things. I was disciplined enough to say, okay, at this point in time, everybody gonna be in this space. So I'm gonna go to this space. I got 15 minutes. I have 15 minutes. That's it. I have 15 minutes to get this done. I went upstairs, I did it, came back downstairs, and one of the guys was like, wait a minute, I just saw you online. Like, he was looking at me like, I just saw you online. Like, what is going on? And that was like that moment came to my mind when you said that, because it was like, hold on, how are you on the computer and you standing right here in front of me? Because I just saw you on Facebook Live. I'm like, because I have a system in place where that in that moment it wasn't automated, but it was, I have a schedule to stick to. So while y'all over here in this space, I'm gonna be over here. I know how much time I have. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna come back and make sure that my responsibility over here is also done.
Yes, yes.
And people might look at you sometimes like, right, I'm committed. Some people, and in that commitment, people may look at you sometimes like, how in the world are you doing all this? Because I have systems and I have things in place that allow me to be able to do this.
Yes.
And if you need to learn, I can get you hooked up with KeishaMcDaniel.com. You can get some systems in place as well, so that you can be on the computer and in front of people at the same time.
This is a real transparent true story. I scheduled my husband. He doesn't quite get all the things, so sometimes he'll say, well, I thought you were asleep. How you online? You know, I am. You woke me up. I legit was asleep. How you sleeping? You posted on Facebook, baby. No, I'm not. For one, I'm consistent. God bless Ivy, right? And two, I be scheduling those things. So listen, it might seem a certain way. Again, you can speculate on what you think people are doing, but then you are putting yourself in a position where you are trying to borrow somebody else's success. Because you don't understand.
Right.
You can find yourself mimicking something and being worn out because you have seen what somebody does strategically and successfully for them.
Right.
And you haven't mastered the ability to do it for you, you can wear yourself out.
That's it.
We're not borrowing nobody else's success. We're gonna make sure we define our own.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think we got so much rich information about an affirmation for being creative, as well as having systems in place for being able to imagine and not being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And for not allowing other people to put or plant ideas in our head of what success should look like, or what our everyday life should look like, or what our capacities should be. Yeah. So I appreciate you so much for depositing that, all of that in there, for affirming us, for giving us, confidence if we were kind of like, I don't know if I should be doing, like, this has helped me. And I've seen people heart and like, so it has definitely made great impact on us. And if you would like to leave us with any final, I'm gonna come out for a little bit. If you want to leave us with any final thoughts or anything that you just want to drive home or for us to grasp, I would love for you to do that for us.
Oh my goodness. Well, first, I do want to just thank Kelly for the opportunity to share. Again, this is my life's purpose. It's my passion to make sure that the individuals that I connect with have discovered purpose, overcome obstacles, and maximize their potential. And I believe that once you know what your God ordained purpose is, then there is absolutely nothing and no one that can stop you from pursuing it. And so I suggest, I commend you. I plead with you to allow purpose to be unlocked in your life, and then develop the passion to pursue it relentlessly. Thank you for the opportunity, Kelly. I'm super excited to be a part of the event live. This has been tremendous. It's been amazing. And I'm looking forward to sharing in the future. Connect with me at I am K McDaniel or at Purpose Pursuit on all social media platforms. And I look forward to, and if you feel free, you can join the Thrive Society, where we are embarking along this 31-day challenge of going from surviving to thriving. And we are on day 20, so you can most certainly hop in. Tomorrow will be day 21, and follow the next 10 days so we can see how the end is going to be. I'm guaranteeing you that next level is going to be supreme. Have an amazing night.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
we
welcome.
are so grateful for you.
Oh my gosh.
To everybody watching, thanks for coming on. And good night. Make sure you connect. I have her socials up here, and she said, I am K McDaniel, Purpose Pursuit. This has been another great night. Everybody get some rest. Know that you can thrive in your future, and nothing can hold you back. Good night, everybody.
Good night.